Colouring the petals. Colouring the petals.
Don't start.
6, no.
Don't start.
I didn't start, no, you started. Yeah,
Don't start.
Should we colour it
Don't
orange?
start.
Okay, don't start, man.
Alright then.
I'm Sarah and my son has autism. Having a child with any disability is extremely challenging. People would expect 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds to be naughty, but when you have a 12-year-old that throws himself on the floor, you know, and he starts flapping, you know, people do stare and you feel they're judging you as a parent, you know, you don't know how to control your child. So, you know, when he was younger, it was more acceptable, but it's not as, you know, he's not cute anymore. You know, he's a 12-year-old that still behaves like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old.
When did you find out that your son was autistic?
I would say just before his 2nd birthday. He wasn't making eye contact, he wasn't recognising his name, he was failing to meet his milestones, and he had an obsession with door banging, you know, and he wouldn't play with the other children. I became very unsociable, and I'm a very sociable person. My friends could tell you that, you know. I wouldn't go out, you know, I couldn't control his behaviour at home, let alone outside. I became depressed. I was even at times grieving because I felt like the son that I should have, you know, he wasn't, you know, affectionate, he wasn't coming to me, you know, what babies do when you call their name and they come to you and they give you a cuddle, and he wasn't doing any of that. He was very cold, you know, he just, you know, I wasn't getting any love, but I wasn't bonding. It was very hard to bond with him. You know, you can feel very lonely even though you're married, because, you know, I think it's maybe because of cultural, my husband's culture, and obviously, you know, being the father and having a son, you know, his way of coping was going into his room and in his world, in his bubble. He remained upstairs while I had to deal with my son. Our marriage, sorry, I hate this, remembering what it was like. We ended up, you know, we had to work together. We didn't want to be a statistic of how many, you know, something we saw on the internet regarding how many marriages that break up and relationships that break up due to having an autistic son, you know, 1 in 10 from what I understand. And I go to all these support groups and these outings, and I see so many single mothers that their partners have gone due to the strain of raising an autistic child, Down syndrome child. And it's, you know, for me, obviously, you know, it's good that, you know, Imran has both parents to be in his life and part of his life, you know. When I think about it, my son's never been invited to birthday parties. We've never got an invitation. He's 12 now. It's just something really that just rotates around the family, really. We're just, that's really his world, is his school and his family and his cousins, who he, you know, if he gets to see them often enough, you know. But this is, you know, this is his life, really. That's all he has, really. Imran struggles with daily life skills. He has a visual timetable, so he can predict what would come next, and this reduces his anxiety. He likes a routine and can get anxious if it's disrupted.
What's that?
Should you read now? Ready to read?
Yes?
Okay, let me get
Who's can? Let's read it.
Yeah, should we read it?
Can.
Wow! Fantastic.
What's that?
Where's the what? Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on. Someone's glossed there. Can, yeah?
Can.
Well done. Imran attends a special needs school where the classes are much smaller, and he has a differentiated curriculum, and he has an individual yearly plan where they set targets for him to meet. I'm also considering to bring in a tutor, a special needs tutor for home on the weekends, and maybe a couple of hours after school week. I'm thinking of ABA tutoring, because for many years I found it very hard to find teachers that actually teach special needs online. We spent some time looking, but it was very hard to find an actual special needs, and they charge so much money as well. But a lot of the time, speech and language would come up, but it's more academic that I want to deal with my son.
3, 4.
That's it. How about this one?
1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So which one has 6 petals?
6.
Which one? One in the middle. Okay, should you do a circle?
Don't start.
Yeah, don't start. We do
It's a
circle. What colour would
It's
you
a
like to...
circle.
It's a circle. Do you want to colour
It's a circle.
It's a circle.
It's a circle.
Circular. Do you want to colour the petals?
Oh my dear.
Do you think that the government offers enough help for people with autism?
Not at all. They keep continuing to make cutbacks, and they are hitting hard on the vulnerable people, the people that have disability and the old. So no, I don't think they're helping at all. And if anything, they're making it worse. The government can help by offering more training to staff and TAs in schools, especially mainstream schools, and their students, to minimise bullying and for the students to understand just what autism is and other disabilities. They should work together with National Autistic Society and the local authority to give better awareness to the general public. My hopes and dreams are for Imran to be more independent, as a young man, to be able to keep himself occupied by perhaps getting a job. Because obviously I'm worried that, he needs to have routine, and what I'm worried about is obviously if he doesn't have the routine with going to work like he does at the moment. I'd like him to grow up and be able to, fall in love and know how to have a relationship, and to find someone eventually to care for him, that he could care for. But everybody loves Imran. You go to the school, they all say, "Oh, I love him, I do." They all love him. Even when I took him back from his old school, they really were sad. They're nice people there as well. And always laughing, and he's always chuckling to himself. I mean, I always say I'd love to spend a day in that little autistic brain of his, just to know what is going on in that world of his. Imran just brings joy to this family. And when I think about it, would I change him? No.